From time to time, I want to share ideas and projects which the business is growing into, which I'm very excited about, and I think can bring great joy to all of my employees and everyone in the business. And one of them is this light touch tourism project for building the most beautiful, small, light touch environmental lodges in the most beautiful spots in the world. And this was exemplified by this place I stayed in. We were lucky to stay here in this guest house at Cape Hunklim. And I just remembered how breathtaking and how it excited me and lifted my spirits.
Of all the places on this piece of coast, this cove is the prettiest little secret spot. And the whole house looks down here at this tiny crescent on the beach with the surf rolling in. It's extremely private. Nobody knows where you are. Nobody knows where they'll find you. My name is Andrew Patterson from Patterson Associates. This is a honeymoon cottage called Seascape. It sits really discreetly in this tiny cove facing into the Southern Ocean. And it's partially buried underground. It's just 2 rooms, bedroom, living room, and a bathroom. The bedroom is angled to look down onto the beach, while the living area looks directly at the comb. The bathroom area looks directly at the comb, but the outdoor fireplace looks directly at the beach. And then there's this undulating glass wall, and it's a 180-degree view of powerful waves coming in just meters away from you. The cove is very remote, and most people access it by helicopter. But you can also access it on a long, winding farm track. So say you're out in a boat, which is really the only way to see this place. The building kind of blends in to the rock escarpment surrounding the cove. And it was really the love of this spot that made the building happen.
Look at the views here. If we think back at places we've been that has taken our breath away, really exemplified God's creation. Look at these views here. I loved what the man said. It was really the love of the spot that made the building happen. In this tourism business, in this quest where I search for the most unique, most breathtaking places in Africa and in South Africa, I think this is the core, one of the core things that I want to bring across, and that is to find the most breathtaking spots and then build a building that is environmentally friendly and really highlights the beauty around you. Not because of the luxury and the Persian carpets and the crystal glasses, but the beauty of what God has created around us. I remember the first time I came to this place, Jack's Camp in northern Botswana on the Magadigadi Pans, where I was flying my falcons. My breath was taken away. These vast pans with these massive panoramic views. These people encapsulated and highlighted and exemplified the beauty of this place through simplicity, through the simplicity of these tents and accommodation, but opening them up, big windows, big viewing points, so that God's hand can be fully, well, no one can say fully, but you are trying to, as far as possible, glorify God by showing the beauty of His creation around you. Like when God created the earth, I think in Genesis, He said it was very good, to try and show that as best as possible. I also remember when I went to Namib Desert for the first time, the lodges there are unbelievably beautiful. The vistas out of your bed and the environment around you took my breath away. It was one of the highlights in my life. I want to find spots like this. Not to build huge and grand lodges, but to build environmentally friendly, small, light touch lodges that take people's breath away. So the first step of this project is become the best at decking and light touch building. You see those houses are very light because to get to these areas you need to scale some hectic mountains and go up some very high hills and up some ravines to get to the most beautiful spots on earth. So you need to be a specialist in decking as well as very light building technology, which is great because it doesn't ruin the environment then. As you can see here, even using very nice caravans, because the thing is if you can get the decking and even close the decking off, the caravan can carry the water and can carry the supplies, and you don't have to go in the big cost of building a lodge immediately. This can come later on as you've trialed the project and the idea in the small.
The building kind of blends in to the rock escarpment surrounding the cove. And it was really the love of the spot that made the building happen. So the building's designed for just 2 people. It's about the simple rituals of life of a couple: bathing, sleeping, eating, and connecting. It's a really romantic place because the dolphins visit the bay nearly every day and the breakers roll in, the storms come and go, and sometimes the air turns like crystal in a beautiful blue day and the sun beats down. You can imagine a couple shipwrecked and swimming to shore and coming here and discovering this. What happens, these two combine and it creates a really rich experience for people. And the wonderful thing about having a southerly view is that it's illuminated in front of you. So you're the audience looking at the view when you're looking directly south. And this view is particularly dramatic because we are out into the seascape. So the building is really a vehicle to allow people to actually connect with nature, with the natural environment. So in this one we tried not to be influenced by things that have gone before. We really tried to grow the design directly out of the site, because if a building looks like it belongs in its location, people can relax and commune with themselves and nature.
Read with me here what Coco Chanel said: simplicity is the keynote of all true elegance. I love what the guy says. The building is the vehicle with which you connect to the environment, with which you connect to nature. This is important, to keep it simple. Find the very, very best spots in South Africa, in Africa, that no one else has even come close to, and build something simple. I actually thought of calling this God's Art Gallery, because what we are trying to do is to display His magnificence in creation through using as little as possible outside influences, but show what is around us. Read with me here. Selling is about the transference of emotion, not a presentation of facts. I want to sell the highest emotional impulse these people feel. I want God to be glorified through these camps, that people say, this was one of the greatest experiences where I felt the closest to God because I was in His creation.
So the building is really a vehicle to allow people to actually connect with nature, with the natural environment. So in this one we tried not to be influenced by things that have gone before. We really tried to grow the design directly out of the site, because if a building looks like it belongs in its location, people can relax and commune with themselves and nature.
And to end off with this quote, judge a man by his questions rather than by his answers. Really, if we're asking ourselves at the end of the day, what are we trying to do? We are trying to deliver the highest emotional spike people have throughout their year. Like what one memory like riveted you and took your breath away? What made you feel the closest to God? Obviously outside Bible study and prayer and church, but this is what we are trying to achieve.